Good morning, colleagues. Morning, colleagues.
Morning, Chair.
Morning, Chair.
How are you?
Doing all right, Chair.
We good.
Are you good?
We
Well,
good.
I told you you must not work before you get well. Right now, the two of us. But I can see today you are in the meeting and you are the one who's going to present. Can't you ask somebody to help you?
Chair, I'll be all right, thanks. I'm not quite 100%
Recording in
yet,
progress.
but I think I'll get through this without too much stress, Chair.
Okay. I ask you to summarize the report so that we must not be long in this meeting because everybody is running around the country. Yeah. So even myself, as I speak to you, I'm somewhere. That's why I'm gonna ask Mom Bibi if I have a problem with network. She must take over.
No, that's perfectly fine, Chair. I wasn't going to want to dwell on the entire legacy report. I thought I would just give some of the highlights, and if there are any specific questions, then we'll deal with those, but rather leave it open for questions than spend too much time talking, Chair. So that's my approach today.
Okay, good. Oh, Mom Bibi.
Hello, Mr. Person.
How are you?
Busy as usual.
Yeah.
I'm okay, sweetheart. I'm getting better. I had a minor operation, but I'm okay.
If you guys, everybody in this committee, operation, hospitalized.
Hi, I'm telling you.
It's because you guys, in all the committees, you are the only one who managed to pass more than 40 bills.
Yes.
More than 40 bills in this committee. So if you are not taking yourself serious, as from today, you must know that you have worked. Every year you pass 5, 6, or this year in a short period, you manage to pass more than 10 bills.
Exactly, Chairperson. What else can we say? There's nothing that we can do, Mama. It's work.
And other bills where chairperson of National Assembly, Comrade Kusuko, sent the bills in the last minutes, and he expected us to pass them.
Really? Then what are we going to do? Ask, are we correcting? Where's the chair?
Chair, I think she got cut off. We need 2 more provinces. But we could, I would say just give it another 5 to 10 minutes because people will log on.
Okay, so you will indicate, eh?
Yeah, this meeting won't be a very long meeting.
Okay, so but
48 hours. 48 hours. Can you please ask her to read the mandate for me, because I might have a problem of network. Thank you. 48 hours.
The mandate, which mandate, Mamgwe?
Umamgwenya
Ngithi mangabe kukhona
No, today we're not dealing with the mandate, Mama.
It's fine.
For that peaceful.
Pasisa legacy report Mama Mamgwenya and minutes phela today. Yes, it's also ilokuzana. It's a report legacy and yama minutes only.
Okay, yeah, now ngiyabona i-report inelento. Minutes.
How many provinces do you still waiting for them?
Because can ask someone who said hi.
Because I can see Gauteng is here, Free State is here, Community is here, KZN is here, Northwest is here. Oh, it's only for province, if I'm not mistaken.
I say give it another few minutes and then we start, because by the time Kobus finishes with his presentation.
That's called in government to upskill public servants, school of governance. Yeah.
Okay. Oscar?
Yes, Chair.
I was thinking while we are still waiting for some members,
Kobus can start.
Yes.
Yeah, no problem.
Yeah. Honorable members, let me take this opportunity to welcome you to this meeting. We know this is a very, very, very basic meeting. we might not be surprised when we don't see other members, because some of them they're busy doing campaigns, and some members, for example, like Honorable Nyambi, they are attending JC interviews. If I'm not mistaken, they are attending other committee commitments. So we cannot blame them if they are not part of this meeting. So, honorable members, today we are going to deal with the legacy report. And the last item, it will be the minutes of the previous, which if we are not correcting, we are not going to adopt. But I will say in the meantime, while we started our meeting, Aska, can you call some members of the committee, for example, Mam Robela? I know I saw her yesterday, she's around here. The other person whom, it's Mam Robela. Try to call her so that she can attend this meeting. In the meantime, when I ask her, Gobas, can you continue with the presentation? Like I requested you to summarize it, but the main issues you must raise them. For example, how far, what we did in the past 5 years. If you manage to do everything accordingly, is it possible for us to work and improve, or the next committee to improve when they just the 7 administration, they must, how should they handle? But even the issue of bills that came late from the National Assembly, so what can we do for them? What can we do? How do they? Thank you. Can you start, because I can see Anna Mamrode will join us at 10:30. This is on the flight, and then Honorable Labuskani, Honorable Labuskani, Honorable
Sorry, Chair. Sorry, Chair. Sorry, Chair.
Yes, Mama.
There's a background that is disturbing us. We could hardly hear you.
Oh, sorry, Honorable
Yes,
Mama. Yes,
okay, Mama.
yes.
Go on.
Gobas, you can start now. We are correcting. Hello?
Yes, Chair. I'm just starting the presentation again. I'm assuming everybody can see the shared screen. I am going to work towards your instructions of being brief and focusing on the key points of the last 5 years, Chair. And as you have requested, also focused on the sort of important statistics of the committee's performance over the past 5 years. Just perhaps a recap for the many members that the committee has that did not start the 5-year cycle in the committee, and how the committee's strategic planning was developed. I just want to give a quick overview of how the strategic plan of the committee came about. The main components of oversight: forestry, fisheries, environmental affairs, mineral resources, energy, rural development and land reform, and agriculture, all is a mix of national, provincial, and concurrent competencies, and creates a very complex oversight environment should a committee attempt to focus on all of the entities and all of the activities within each department. Therefore, the focus was to detect and prevent abuse, arbitrary behavior, illegal, unconstitutional conduct on the part of government and public agencies, focus on fiscal responsibility and accountability, focusing on government policies and the delivery of those policies, and to improve government transparency and enhance public trust. Now, that's a relatively broad concept to focus on, and the committee was also given the task of looking at the high-level panel context of cooperative government and intergovernmental relations. Now, from the most important aspects of the report's views, there's the extent to which all of the key elements, which would be policy, legislation, and budget, are compatible with one another in terms, therefore, of the spheres of government, the deliverables, and the planned targets of government. And should that compatibility not exist, what are the nature of trade-offs that should be made? And the trade-offs is seen in planning, resource allocation, impact on national objectives, and citizens' expectations and rights. And this is really where the oversight of the NCOP tries to focus, because there are always trade-offs, there are always some form of incompatibility between policies and national priorities, as I will highlight later on in the presentation. So this is what the oversight of the committee attempted to achieve. Now, in its oversight focus, the committee had identified a reduced number of themes. One of the lessons learned from the Fifth Parliament was that a higher level or higher number of oversight themes that were identified merely led to fewer of the committee's oversight priorities being achieved due to the constraints that the committee operates under. The biggest constraint is the amount of meeting and oversight opportunities that the committee has compared to the broad oversight responsibility of the committees. So what was learned from the Fifth Parliament was that everything that is possibly prioritized by the committee will not meet the oversight and meeting realities of the committee. And the Sixth Parliament's report, even though there was a reduced number of focus areas, will still reflect the same challenge. And this remains one of the key challenges of the committee in terms of its oversight performance. My apologies. Therefore, we have the farmer support and optimal utilization of agricultural land, legislative and policy development in support of the development of a green economy, the land reform process, policy direction and impact, and that was specifically also targeted at the second round of land claims and how the department is handling those. Then policy challenges and opportunities regarding the oceans economy from a fisheries and aquaculture perspective, local government competencies, air quality monitoring, waste management, and a focus on municipal funding models, budget allocation, and human capital constraints. Biodiversity loss was the next, and then negative impacts of the mining sector and the efficacy of the one environmental system, optimizing policy, IGR, and CG, so intergovernmental relations and cooperative government, for the implementation of social and labor plans with municipal industrial development plans, and then policy, legislation, and regulatory impasse in the DMRE, specifically when it comes to the social and labor plans and municipal IDP, the benefits of mining, therefore, as would have been required or desired in provincial and local government spheres. Now, these matters remained the focus of the committee's oversight and meeting schedules where parliamentary programs allowed it. What I mean by that is the committee, in the time that it had for oversight and programming meetings, had remained focused on these issues. Not all could be fully addressed. And the next couple of slides and discussion will highlight where the challenges had occurred. Okay. In theory, therefore, where the committee would focus its oversight, if we look at the bottom progression from national policy through to service delivery and the attainment of policy objectives, the focus of the committee would be more towards the last three aspects of governance and budget allocation, would be the state of programs and projects, service delivery, and whether policy objectives were attained. For the most part of the NCOP's observations over the past two parliaments, there was clear evidence that some of the policy implementation does not reach a value attainment or a policy finalization that was the desired outcome as per national policy and national planning. And four main issues were identified in the fifth parliament by the committee, and it was silo mentality of national departments, lack of ring fencing of financial allocations for specific programs, mandate overlap between departments where the silo mentality and the lack of cooperation between departments then create challenges, and capacity constraints and lapses in oversight. And as the legacy report has shown, these challenges have not been resolved by government through the sixth parliament, the sixth administration. These challenges remain and would therefore still be of interest to the seventh parliament. These are issues that at national level might not influence planning, but at local and provincial level definitely influences the success of government spending and government projects. And where possible, I will highlight where these four challenges again showed up in the outcomes of oversight of the committee. In terms of impacts, before the final statistics of the committee is looked at, it is worth noting that even before major impacts such as COVID-19's lockdown period, the NCOP timetable is a very challenging environment for any select committee to operate within. At the onset of this term, the Secretariat highlighted to the committee how few meetings and oversight opportunities are typically available to a committee, and that normally a 5-year period's planning is a challenge to implement. What occurred in the sixth administration was a significant loss of meeting and oversight opportunities during the COVID lockdown period. And following the resumption of normal functioning of committees in terms of meeting opportunities and oversight opportunities, the committee also encountered a significant legislative processing load that, even though 2023 and 24 was significantly impacted by legislation, the processing of legislation had started relatively early on in the operational stages of the sixth parliament. And although this isn't a diversion from parliamentary committee responsibilities, legislative processing is a big responsibility of committees, it impacts on the strategic planning of the committee. When there's a final analysis of the annual plans of a committee versus the achievement of a committee, it is never possible to leave space open in the committee's plan for legislation and to focus realistically on how many meeting opportunities the committee is going to have. So there will always be a explanation required as to why a committee did not achieve all of its planned meeting objectives. And I think this slide gives a very good indication. It was prepared while some of the committee activity was still ongoing, so there might be slight differences that have crept in terms of the spread of committee activity, but it would not have changed significantly. For the sixth parliament, the committee spent roughly half of its meeting opportunities dealing with legislation and processing legislation. And therefore, straight off the bat, it is possible to say that as the committee in its strategic planning stages throughout the 5 years is not in a position to leave any meeting slots vacant. All meeting slots have to be filled with oversight priorities of the committee. It is safe to assume that at least half of the prioritized oversight of the committee had to fall away as a result of the legislative processing load that the committee had experienced. Therefore, from a secretariat perspective, I do not see any real challenge in terms of what the committee had planned and what the committee achieved in terms of committee's capacity to operate in. It is simply a case of 50% of all of the time of the sixth parliament of the committee's work was directed towards legislation. In terms of budget and APPs, the committee has to prioritize all of the departments within its oversight window. Those are normally planned for in the committee's strategic planning, and therefore the loss of some time to APP and budgets is not considered a significant challenge. But therefore, 18 plus 12, 30% of the committee's planned activities, admin also goes through as updates of committee programs and refinement of the committee's programming, feedback on reports, matters such as that. So it is focusing on committee business. But then in reality, only 30% of the committee's meeting times could be directed at the strategic planning, at the priority themes of the committee. The remainder was directed at legislation and budget and APP of departments. So if you then summarize the themed oversight outcomes, it has to be said that even with a reduced number of focus areas compared to the fifth parliament strat plan, the committee was not able to perform oversight on all the identified priorities. What also surfaced was that the complexity of some identified themes has triggered a number of lessons for the committee. There's definitely intergovernmental relations and cooperative government cooperation needed between departments to finalize some of the challenges of silo approaches that the committee encountered. A very good example of this case was the visit to the Crocodile River area, where local government challenges in terms of managing all of the wastewater that is emanating from formal and informal settlements within its boundary had caused poor water management is causing pollution to enter the Kruger National Park and therefore has knock-on effects on the Kruger National Park's aquatic conservation efforts. And once that water flows out of the Kruger National Park into border SADC countries, there's also the risk of contravening agreements between South Africa and other SADC countries in terms of water quality management. Now, therefore, you have a local government challenge that becomes a environmental management challenge, which then becomes a SADC government challenge in potential should it not be resolved fast enough. The committee's experience of the oversight was that the three matters were not managed as a single challenge by government departments, and that there's a need, start to finish, to improve the manner in which pollution of natural resources, or indeed other of these challenges that are encountered, are dealt with. So definitely one of the lessons that came out of the committee's strategic planning and the way it tried to tackle complex issues was that when dealing with departments that fall outside of the committee's mandate, simple cooperation cannot be relied upon. There are more avenues that need to be followed through IGR and COGTA to be able to meet with all the entities and departments involved and to see if it is going to achieve better oversight results than simply trying to focus on the aspects of the problem that the committee has a mandate over. So that was one of the important take-home messages from that themed oversight process of the Sixth Parliament. But as stated before, regardless of the lack of opportunities for meetings, the committee did manage to improve its understanding of several challenges underlying the identified themes. And here's sort of a list of the highlights of issues that came out of committee activity. The first, remedial action, policy review, and legislative review required to correct flaws in the use and support of agricultural cooperatives and communal property associations during agriculture, fishery, and land reform projects are persisting, and legislative and policy review has not been sufficient to address the challenges identified. The committee did spend quite a bit of time my apologies, looking into these issues, especially communal property association support and post-settlement farmer support in the form of FPSUs and agri-villages, and had been able to put forward significant amount of recommendations regarding what has been observed. The Seventh Parliament needs to continue following up on these matters, as the final policy and legislative environment that would potentially address these challenges does not exist as of yet. There are still much to be done, especially in terms of communal property association management. The reports that are received every year from the department does not indicate that governance is improving there. So obviously there's a need for greater policy review and legislative implementation and development there. The second matter that was achieved, or oversight that yielded results for the committee, was in terms of local government challenges related to waste management and the potential to integrate this competency with green economy initiatives of government or the private sector, and the challenges that persist and is complicated by CG and IGR barriers. Again, as the committee had observed over a number of oversights, the financial allocations that local government requires to achieve proper waste management and to pay the specialists needed to work within its waste management entities, as well as its air quality management and its disaster response management for that matter. In that bullet point, I only focused on the solid waste management challenges, but the committee observed the same challenges in disaster response and in air quality management, is that funding challenges and a lack of support from other departments and entities that play a role in waste management and air pollution is still creating challenges for local government, and this should continue to be a focus of the committee going into the 7th Parliament, particularly in seeing over the past couple of months the challenges that remain regarding Eskom and Sasol pollution and emission standards, and pressure that the Department of Forestry, Fisheries and the Environment is under to relax the emission standards from these entities in order to balance out load shedding challenges. This will remain a major issue throughout the 7th Parliament and beyond. The Paris Agreement targets and the realities of load shedding and the challenges faced then by local government because of these are not going to be resolved quickly. Those are major issues that will persist in the 7th Parliament. The last bullet point on this slide is the challenges that was observed regarding the fate of the second round of land claims, especially those that were put in by people who lost land prior to 1913. These claims remain largely unresolved. And as was seen in the Northern Cape, the age of the people that had put in these claims are relatively high. And every year that this policy challenge remains unresolved is another year where quite a few claimants pass away, unfortunately. So this will also be a matter that remains a 7th Parliament challenge. In terms of especially the Western Cape, the small-scale fishery challenge remains largely as is. The main challenge is still that the amount of fishers that are allocated rights and the amount of rights that they are allocated simply do not meet the requirements of the artisanal fishers in this province. Other provinces have similar challenges, but in the Western Cape, it is still a significant challenge. Then, as alluded to on the previous slide, the major challenge that the country faces, and it's an international challenge, it is not just South Africa where, my apologies, where this challenge is observed. There is real challenges awaiting government in order to reach national declared contributions. And these aren't always going to be possible financially or practically for countries to achieve without some form of sacrifice or some form of electricity shortage, as have been seen in other countries. Now, South Africa has to deal with aging infrastructure and with its NDCs that are focused on transferring energy generation to lower carbon entities, but these are not being developed fast enough to deal with the energy demands of the country. And the only way to resolve the energy challenges of the country is within the old order energy generation infrastructure of Eskom, which then creates the problem that is being seen right now. It is not possible to avert load shedding without the use of the exact type of energy infrastructure that South Africa's Paris Agreement NDCs are trying to move away from. But without alternatives fully in place, this will remain a challenge, and it will probably remain a challenge through the 7th administration. Most likely will also therefore stay on the radar of the committee. Sorry, my apologies. Just going to drink some water. Therefore, to summarize, the challenges that the committee would very much like to highlight for the incoming 7th administration is that the primary role of the committee, that of processing legislation, is never adequately included during strategic planning, reducing the oversight achievements of the committee based on their strategic planning, not based on the activity that the committee is actually capable of doing, but based on what the committee had planned to do versus what it had been afforded opportunities to do. Also, it is clear that the themed oversight strategy of the committee works, but it is very often influenced by national departments and entities that falls outside of the oversight mandate of the committee. And that makes it impossible to conclude oversight over such themes without the additional need of including other committees or other entities of government into the oversight, which was not possible all the time in the 6th Parliament. What is also clear from these complex themes is that they will require a greater amount of time to conclude as compared to simpler oversight targets. Therefore, another message that would be taken through to the 7th Parliament is, based on the fact that the committee is challenged for time, the committee needs to prioritize whether it wants to take on challenging issues that include various spheres of government and or other departments, or whether the committee wants to focus on matters that could potentially be resolved faster. Because the more or the greater the number of complex challenges that the committee wants to do oversight over, the less time, in effect, will be available for any other activity, and therefore also reduces the amount of strategic planning targets that the committee can set based on the experience of attempting to do oversight over some of these challenging issues. So there would be some planning and prioritization needed in the 7th Parliament to decide upfront, is the number of themes going to be reduced even more in order to resolve complex challenges, or will the committee move away from these complex challenges slightly to focus on many of the other issues that are pertinent within the committee's mandate? That is something that the committee will have to decide on in the 7th Parliament. I think it is safe to say that when the strategic planning of the 6th Parliament committee's activities was performed, it was never expected to have to dedicate 50% of the committee's time to legislation. And the lesson to take from that, therefore, is to expect a similar kind of scenario for the 7th Parliament, and to fine-tune the matters that the committee focuses on in order to optimize all of the committee's activities, not simply being able to perform oversight when it is possible, but also to perform the most effective oversight when those opportunities arise. What remains a challenge that has been highlighted every time when a new parliamentary cycle starts is that as the NCOP functions at present, and as the numbers of select committee or permanent delegates to the NCOP is set up, the portfolio of this, and I'm assuming also many of the other select committees, is simply too large, and members are overstretched due to their work in multiple committees. As can be seen from the legacy report of the committee, the number of entities that the committee has within its mandate are more than the annual amount of meeting opportunities that the committee has. So once the budget and APPs of committee of departments are dealt with, the committee doesn't have enough time in its oversight schedule to even just meet once with all of the entities within its portfolio. And that never will result in a committee knowing exactly what's going on in its entire portfolio. There's always an attempt to focus on pertinent issues while knowing that there are a great number of entities that in the 5-year period of the committee's functioning might not even be engaged. And that has been a challenge since I have joined the Secretariat, and it is not going to be easy to resolve. But the portfolio versus meeting times of the committee will remain a key challenge. Also, as happens frequently in a 5-year term, there is a issue that comes up that is pertinent to the committee, important to deal with, but it wasn't part of the strategic planning at the beginning of a year simply because the matter wasn't anticipated, but it cannot be ignored, which means that there are always some issues that are postponed as a result of emerging challenges. And there's no way to plan for this. There's no way to make up for time for any of these issues that have to be postponed. It's a reality of how the NCOP focuses at present. Sorry. Therefore, it's another challenge that will be passed on to the 7th Parliament, just to clearly identify at the beginning of a planning cycle that additional to all the other challenges highlighted, there are always matters that need to be moved to the forefront of the committee's work, and the time management of the committee is such that it removes items from the oversight of the committee. It doesn't postpone them. Items fall away from the committee's focus invariably, unfortunately, based on the pressures that the committee is facing in terms of its amount of available slots. In terms of, therefore, the unfinished business from the 6th Parliament, the following matters will be presented to the 7th administration simply from the perspective of stating that it was prioritized in the 6th Parliament, but could not be focused on sufficiently as a result of the workload of the committee. The list is as follows. First, social, environmental, and economic impacts caused by illegal mining, derelict and ownerless mines, and acid mine drainage. Second, the causes, impacts, and potential resolution for the rapid expansion of mining into prime agricultural land, watershed, and sensitive ecological areas. This has mushroomed quite significantly along the Western Cape Coast. This was mostly a function of the agricultural land of the interior when it became a priority. But during the 6th Parliament, this matter has also spread quite rapidly along the Western Cape Coast. And in sort of summary, it's probably a bigger challenge now than what it was when it was identified first. The third point was identifying resource requirements and a realistic timeline for the finalization of all outstanding land claims. So that is especially the matters that remain unresolved from the first round of land claims, which through court order is in need of being finalized before any further land claims can be considered. That matter remains important, but also remains unresolved, mostly as a result of budget allocations and the challenges that the department highlights in terms of finalizing these claims. But these will remain a priority in the mandate of the committee. The fourth point there is the role of environmental legislation in the management of commercially important biological resources, especially fisheries and environmental management. Now, I'm not sure from my side, my screen sharing is over the heading, but the heading is a brief note on legislation. As the chairperson highlighted at the beginning of the meeting, the committee had managed to complete all legislation that was before it, but this does not mean that the process that Parliament has put into place in terms of legislative processing is ideal. So one of the lessons, or a group of lessons learned from how the committee processed legislation during the sixth Parliament is also worth noting. Most importantly, even if the committee had a clear insight into when bills would have been referred to it, it would not have changed the amount of meeting slots that would have had to be directed at the bills, and therefore the activity levels of the committee would not have changed over the 5-year term. What it might have been possible to do for the committee, should it have had clearer indication of the legislative load, was to consider meetings very carefully and to ensure that the prioritization of issues in the strategic plan was done optimally. From the Secretariat's perspective, nothing that was focused on was not as relevant as any of the issues that remained unresolved. But the only thing that knowing how many bills are coming your way would resolve would be exactly what is focused on by the committee when an opportunity for a programmed oversight or meeting does become available. Secondly, all bills could be processed with public input obtained, although the timelines were not always ideal. It would have been preferable to be able to share inputs obtained with provinces before their deliberations towards negotiating mandates. This, again, is not a function of committees. It's not a function of how fast this committee could work. It was simply a function of how much time the committee had within which to process a piece of legislation and how much time the public need to be given for public input. The amount of time that was available to share the inputs that the committee received from these inputs was not ideal towards the end of the parliamentary cycle, and it would be worth looking into ways in which bills that are in Parliament could move faster through the National Assembly in order to allow the public engagement of the NCOP to have more value other than to inform the committee of the views of the public, but to also be able to share these views timeously with the other provinces. That remains the third bullet point on this slide as well. The truncated timelines of Section 76 bill processing in the NCFP remains a challenge, and the short period of time directed towards each bill, although within the rules of Parliament, diminishes the public consultation process. The only way, or the main reason why this is a concern for the Secretariat, is the majority of times the bills that are passed by the NCOP are passed without amendments, but not because there weren't suitable proposals coming forward from the public, as can be seen from the fact that in many instances, the departments had agreed with proposed amendments that came forth from certain mandates from provinces. There were significant inputs from provinces that the department had not disagreed with and were willing to include into its legislative drafting. But the only reason why these could not be included was because there were simply not enough provinces that had been in support of all of the proposed amendments. Now, looking back to the early part of the fourth parliament, there were an opportunity for provinces to interact with each other on the negotiating mandates that were being developed, and in some ways brainstorm on the public input that had been received and to show the different provinces what is on the table in their view as to proposed amendments to the bill. That process doesn't happen anymore, which invariably means that there's almost no chance for any proposed amendment in the current timelines of a Section 76 bill to be taken up unless more than 5 provinces in its public engagement had included it into a mandate. It would, from the Secretariat's perspective, maybe assist the processing of Section 76 bills within the NCOP if the National Assembly has got a set or a specific timeline or a specific period in which a bill has to be completed in order to give the NCOP sufficient time to complete its deliberations. Many of the bills that were received by the NCOP towards the end of this term had been in Parliament for years and had been given to the NCOP to finish within 8 weeks, which in the end, the processes all flow according to the requirements of parliamentary rules. But in the end, public input on these bills is diminished once it passes the NA. And that is a matter that I think was highlighted after the 5th parliamentary term, and it remains a challenge now after the 6th parliamentary term. The speed at which bills have to be processed versus the value of public engagement and the value of proposed amendments that provinces do bring to the table during the negotiating phase. And Chair, that is the end of the highlights, but it does not mean that if there is anything that any member of the committee had picked up in the legacy report that can't be interrogated. Those were the points that I have highlighted in the time that I was that was available to me, Chair. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Globus, for your presentation. Let me start by welcoming it and then give to honorable members for discussion or any addition if they do have. Honorable members, I put a report in front of you for your discussion.
Hello, Chair.
Hello, Ma.
Thanks very much, Chair. Thank you for the presentation. Chair, in terms of my side, I don't have any question, but we accept the presentation, Chair, and thanks very much. Bye.
Thank you very much, Honorable Ngwenya Mama. Is it the last hand that I see? Okay. Let me not waste any time. Let's go straight to the adoption of this report. To honorable members for your 5 years. This is the work that you have done. This is the work that you didn't manage to do because of the reasons that were raised. So are we adopting our report, honorable members?
Yes, Chairperson, this is Honorable BP the side. I move for the adoption of the legacy report, Chairperson. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Honorable BB Momo. Anyone who would like to second Honorable BB?
Thanks very much, Chair. It's Honorable Ngwenya. I would like to second Mama BB. Thank you.
Thank you very much. It means this report is duly adopted. Thank you very much, honorable members. The next item, Aska, which is the minutes. Aska?
Yeah, Chairperson, it's on the screen.
Okay. Honorable members, we put in front of you the last week's meetings minutes for the adoption. Before the adoption, honorable members, I will give to you if there are sentence construction error, you can rectify it. If there is an omission, or if you want to subtract something in this, you can do that before we adopt it. But if we don't have anything, we can go straight for the adoption of the report.
Thanks very much, Chairperson. It's Honorable Ngwenya.
Yes, Mama.
Thanks, Chair. I would like to propose to adopt the report as it is. Thanks, Chair.
Thank you very much, Honorable Ngwenya, for moving for the adoption of the report. Any seconder? Any seconder of the minutes?
BP seconds, Chairperson. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mama. It means this.
To second the adoption of the minutes.
Oh, network yako, Honorable Mtsube, but we heard you. Honorable members, this is our last meeting today. Before that, I would like the political parties that are in the meeting, because now is our last meeting. I will start with Honorable De Bruin to say something to the committee, the final word. Not necessary you are going to die, but it's our last day at work. Honorable De Bruin, and it will follow by Honorable Mabatu. If Honorable Mabatu is not there, Honorable Magwala is here in the meeting, and then Honorable from DA, I don't see anyone, and then Honorable BB as the whip of the committee will say something. Pick one. Honorable De Bruin.
Thank you, Honorable Chairperson. Chairperson, from my side and from the Freedom Front Plus side, I must say, for the last 3 years that I've been a part of this committee, it has been a privilege to serve with all of my colleagues. I think we handled each meeting and each oversight, I think we handled in a professional manner. And I think we came to respect each other. And I wish to thank all my colleagues for that. And I wish everyone good luck with the elections ahead. And hopefully we'll be back as colleagues again in the same committee. That's all from my side. Thank you, Chairperson.
Thank you.
Thank you, Baba.
Thank you, Papa. And then Honorable Aus Mabatu, if you are not in the meeting, I saw Honorable Magwala.
Yes, Mama.
Honorable Magwala? Yes.
Yes, Mama. Good afternoon, Chair. Or morning.
Afternoon, morning.
I didn't hear anything. What must I say, Chair? You want me to comment?
Okay, it's our last day in our work. So I would like, because we will be parting ways from today. Now we've been working as a collective with the staff, our staff, and with all of us as honorable members. So I would like political party that are represented in this committee to say something for ourselves, to the officials, staff that were assisting us for the past 5 years.
Oh, okay. Now, let me take this opportunity to first greet everyone that is in the meeting. All the protocol must be observed. Chairperson, as you know, as I've joined the council last year, I've got a year now and 2 months. But as the party, we'd like also to take this opportunity to thank you, Chairperson, for leading this committee with dignity it deserves. Thanks all the departments, the officials of the departments, the ministers, deputy ministers, that respected this committee and come and presented the bills, their strategies in terms of the SOEs and everything. Also like to thank the staff of the select committee for always being helpful, always been there for us when we need things. We're very much grateful as the economic freedom fighters. And also would like to say thank you to other political parties that are also represented here in the committee. The committee was very nice. It was not politically. The debate were very much robust, but we'll always find the conclusion as the committee. Thank you, Mama Mutisa, Honorable Mutisa, for leading us in the right direction. Hopefully that in the 7th administration, whoever is going to take over in terms of our handover report as well, and the challenges that were read here in terms of that can be fixed. And also, this is my farewell speech also, as that we don't know if our political parties will bring us back to this house, but thank you very much, Mama Mutisa. It's been a very nice period, and I've learned a lot personally myself from all of you in the committee and in the council. We are very much grateful to participate fully in the committee and give a meaningful participation. I thank you very much, Mama Mutisa.
Hey, thank you very much, Honorable Magwala. Make me, becoming emotional. Now, thank you very much, sir, with your words. Now it's Honorable Karim. I saw you in the platform. Honorable Karim. Honorable Karim. Honorable Karim. Okay, maybe Honorable Karim is She doesn't have network. I'm trying to call her. Who else in the meeting before I give to Honorable BB, whip of the committee? Okay. If Honorable Karim can come or have a network, we'll give an opportunity. Honorable BB, this is your time as a whip of the committee.
Thank you very much, Chairperson. Greetings to the colleagues, and greetings to your good self, and also to the and greetings to the staff that we have. Well, Chairperson, this is a very sad moment. Honestly, I must say, to part ways, it's something else. But there's only one thing that I will say, that thank you very much for your leadership, Chairperson. Chairperson Mama Mudise. You were a wonderful chairperson, honestly, I must say, who was patient and dedicated into this meeting. And you made sure that all of us are on par. And you have never discriminated anybody. And also, I would say, thanks for your leadership, and also thank members of the opposition party, EFF, Freedom Front, DA, and also ANC members. I would say to the members, thank you very much. Yes, I was the whip of the meeting, but you never gave me a hard time. You made sure that although some of you has got other meetings that clash with our meetings, but you make sure that you do come into our meetings and we do correct, especially with Comrade Noxol, although she's not here, and also Honorable Ntube. Thank you very much for your dedication, guys. I knew that you had other meetings that clashed, but you made sure that with our meetings, you made it correct and you made everything to be successful. And also, I would like to thank the staff, officials, Oscar and Tuesday. Thank you very much for your guidance and also helping us getting through, as most of us were new in this NCOP and also in these committees, but you made sure that you make all of us to be on par, and you have never tired, although we used to give you hard time at times, but you were there to ensure that, you lead us into the right direction. And also what I would say, Chairperson, for me, it's quite a lot. But since this is the last moment, I will say thank you, all of you, for the support and also for your dedication in this committee. And we ensure that, yes, we are different, organizations, but you made sure that all of us to be one family. And I so wish with the 7th Parliament, most of us come back, although I know that quite a number of us here, they might be deployed in their provinces. But all the same, I would say thank you very much, guys. And really, there's nothing more that I would say. It's really, Chairperson, is a very, emotional day. But thank you very much, Chairperson. Thank you very much for leading us, and also to the members, and also not forgetting our officials. Good luck for the work that will be done outside there with our elections, and hope everything goes well. Thank you very much, Chairperson, for the opportunity. Thanks.
No, thank you very much, Honorable BB, for those words you have said. And everybody in the meeting. Honorable BB, you said to say goodbye is not a good word. And normally I don't want that word. But today we are saying goodbye to everybody. But let me start with this. To the officials of this committee, Bulelwa, you were secretary of this of my office. I've never complained. There was a time where we don't know each other, but I like how did you handle the situation. You put me where I'm supposed to be, and indirect, without making noise, but guiding me. Thank you very much. I was not even aware that if you are the chairperson of the committee, the secretary she's supposed to do 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. I'll call you at night. I'll call you during the meetings, but you are there. You will be there. To Mr. Joste, you know, most of the time we have been acting as the content advisor, also acting as the researcher of the committee. Before we met, we have Dr. Lekalakala. For more than a year, you have been doing 2 things alone. And at some point when Aska was not well, you were doing 3 things on your own, helping this committee to make sure that we get the report, to make sure that you summarize when we go to our provinces to brief the provinces. You can even go extra miles to go with the chairperson to go and brief the provinces. Thank you very much. Jeannie, we worked with you for a few months, but indeed you started where Dr. Lekalakala have left. You keep that baton and make sure that every time when we go to the meeting of the committee, you have read the presentation and you summarize and you do your own research for that committee. Thank you very much for that. My brother, Aska, because since I work closely with you, we became brothers and sisters. You were not the secretary of the committee to me. At some point, I will come angry and say, you'll say, "Hi, Yebo. Hey, go. No, we have to do 1, 2, 3. For the past 5 years, you go through a lot. It was a difficult years for you, but the work of the committee, you have never neglected it. You always do your work. Even if you are in hospital bed, you will continue to do the work. During the difficult time when you lost your partner, you still do the committee work. That's why I'm saying you were not at the committee of secretary. You were also my brother. You were also my part of the family.
Okay. This one.
For being there for the committee all the times. I hope all the officials that are in this committee, they will be able to take over again with the another chairperson. They work with her or him who will be in this committee, like they give us the support. I really, really, really thank you from the bottom of my heart. Thank you very much. I didn't know anything about mineral.
Thanks, Chair. Can I leave, Chair? Thanks, Chairperson. Can I leave? I want to get insight in this another meeting.
Deploy me in this committee. I didn't know. What can leave, Honorable? Yes, you can leave. Okay. Mr. Bowen, thank you very much. Keep it up. I know you are a fighter. Fight your personal health. Make sure that the committee is existing very well. Thank you very much. Oh, members of the committee, thank you very much. You know, when we met here, we didn't know each other. The first day of the meeting, I remember when we choose the chairperson of this committee, I was contested by my friend, Honorable Smith. But after the meeting, same day, we become friends and we work together. Even if when we were somewhere doing oversight, we were hand in hand with Honorable Smith. Mama Laboskachni, for your experience in this committee, you ask, at some point you raise a point, and when we are sitting down there, we'll say this point is correct, and we silently implement the point that we have raised. You help us and continue. If you will be still in this committee, please continue to assist the another members of this committee. Continue to do that. Other members, Honorable De Bruin, with your softness, and always when we call oversight, you are coming. You don't even ask any so many questions. Why are we going there, and what are we doing? So thank you very much for that. Honorable Nana, very intelligent, very professional person. You know, yeah, I can say a lot. Thank you very much. Honorable, oh, Mama, and who's this leader, EFF, oh, Mama Mabato. You know, Honorable Mabato, you went through a lot these 5 years. But I like you. How did you handle the matters of the committee? Irrespective, you can come and make noise, but every time in the committee, you know how to behave and you assist the committee. Thank you very much. Continue to do the same thing. Ma'am Karim, from time to time, me and you, when we discuss, because we are from the same province, we'll say we put the interest of our province first. And we can differ in the meeting as opposition matters, but when we get to work, that's what I like this committee. Nobody will say NAM representing the EFF, NAM representing whatever. No. Thank you very much, ma'am. Keep it up. Honorable Magwala, you came late last year in the committee, but let me tell you, for coming late of you, I thought you will have 5 years in this committee because your participation means a lot to us. Your participation in the meeting, you always be there. And what I like about you, if we are going for oversight, you have a problem, you will come to me and say, Chairperson, I have this and this and this. I'm not, won't be able to attend this oversight. When you didn't know that you are making something huge to this committee. Unlike some committee members, I'm told they will leave without saying anything. Thank you very much. Honorable Ntube, most of the time they put you in dilemma. You had so many committees, and 2 of those committees are sitting same day. But you will divide yourself to make sure that this committee, land reform, you represent your province, you represent the communities that elected us. As young as you are, you can become a good leader if you can continue to handle yourself, your participation, your presentation, your debate. Yeah. Thank you very much. Guys, you have done a lot to this committee. Don't say we are not recognizing you or we don't see what you are doing. Thank you very much, Honorable Ntube. Honorable Ngwenya. You know, Mama Ngwenya, there was a time during the COVID when Dade Matibe was there. I know most of the time when we started to use the technology, Zoom meetings, most of the time honorable members will be absent. But Mam Ngwenya, if we can mark a register, Mam Ngwenya, she has never been an absent in the meeting, unless like now she will come to the meeting and then requested to be leave. Mom, you were an anchor to this committee. You assist us a lot. And even for the oversighting, you have been there always, doing oversight with us. And I like to your words to say, I will do anything to protect Msebeti waka. Continue to like your Msebeti, Mama. Thank you very much. To Honorable Nyambi. Colleagues, let me tell you something. When I get to the committee, after the announcement that Honorable Nyambi and Mangweng, they are the members of this committee, I started panicking because I was saying how I am going to lead the House chairpersons. And for that matter, Honorable Nyambi, he has been in this parliament for so many years. So how I am going to lead him? I thought Honorable Nyambi will act in this committee as like a House chairperson. No, he has never acted like that. He's always being a member of the committee, not House chairperson. Hey, man. And sometimes when we were somewhere in the oversight, and then I'll introduce and I say, House chair. He said, no, I'm the member of this committee. You are the chairperson. You will give me the instruction. But for me, it was awkward. I didn't know what can I say, but I followed the instruction. Because I've never led my senior in the meeting or in the committee. So it was for the first time for the past 5 years. But he has never, ever, instead of saying harsh words to me, will say, Mama, let's do 1, 2, 3. Even if I send the request in the last minute into his office, he won't even hesitate to approve or to guide me. How should I do the request? So, Honorable Nyambi, wherever you will be or wherever you are doing, keep it up as you are doing, as you did to this committee. The leader of this committee, which is Mama KwaZulu Natal, siyayiseka. Mama, thank you very much.
Wow.
Let me tell you something. Other committees, the whip of the committees, they are fighting with the chairperson. So I was asking them, now I've never come across of that thing. I don't even have a day for the past 5 years. I've never had a single or harsh word from Mama. Instead, she will, when I'm down, she will pick me up. Say, Mama, let's do 1, 2, 3. Let's make sure that our committee doesn't lose its originate. Let's focus on the mandate of the committee. Mama, your debate, even if I can give you the report in the morning to say, Mama, please read the report for me. Maybe I have a challenge of the network. You'll do that. And you'll present it nicely. Thank you very much, Mom Baby. Wherever you are going or whatever you are going to do as you did in this committee. You did a marvelous job to us. I don't remember everybody. I think I recognize everybody who participated fully in this committee, who have helped the committee, not who came as and when. Did I left someone behind in the members of the committee? Oh, Honorable Mkiva. Honorable Mkiva. Oh, Tata. You know, when you join this committee after the Matibe left, you continue to do the same thing that Matibe did. You will be there, and when I'm absent, or because I can't be absent, but when I'm not well, you will take over and run this committee like it's your committee. And the topic of that day, you will understand it quickly and take over and dealt with the matter to the committee. And you're always participating, debating in this committee. It's well. We really, really appreciated what you did. You did a lot to this committee. Thank you very much. Wherever maybe you will be somewhere doing something in the National Assembly or coming back to the NCOP, keep it up. Keep it up. Honorable members, I know when you are joined together, there and there you can make a mistake. Yes, we are women beings. And for doing the mistake, you can learn from your mistake. There is no person who say in my life, I've never made a mistake. But fortunately, the mistake that we did, I'm saying we learn. It's our books, the reading books, that we read it to say, I did this, now I'm going to improve. If one of us, when we are together in these past 5 years, we touch, we say something very strong to you, or some ways that it didn't sit well to you, please forgive us. Let's forget what wrong we made, the wrong things that we did. Let's focus with the beautiful and nicely thing that we did to this committee. I would like to apologize to everybody if one of the members come across and touching his tone and leave a gap that is deep, or a wound that is very, very deep. Sorry for that. Including you, also member of the staff. At some point when we are under pressure, when we look at like something is not going well, you know me, Aska, you know me, everybody in this committee, I will just shout you, say, do this, do this, do this. And I know some of you will call me, say, Chairperson, why are you shouting? Why are you don't do the right thing, Ella? We understand. Don't shout us. But we are sorry. We are so sorry. We didn't do that because we are undermining you. It was not. It was because we were under pressure and we wanted things to be as we plan. Sorry for that. To everybody, like I said when I started this, I say goodbye. It's not a good word, but we have to. I know some of us, when we came to this parliament, we left the families at home. We become family with everybody in here. So again, for us to leave our members, our family members, it's so painful for us. It's so painful. This journey that we traveled together, we didn't know that one day the train will stop and some of us, some will remain in the station. Some will go with the train. So that's how life it is. Honorable members, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for giving me the opportunity to lead this committee. Thank you very much. You have built me, you have encouraged me, you have done a lot to me. Thank you. Today, I can become a good chairperson because of you. Thank you very much. Honorable members, this is our last meeting. See you. Oh, okay. I can see Honorable Karim because she won't be able to say something. She wrote on the platform, he said, on behalf of Democratic Alliance, my sincerely thanks and appreciation to the honorable members for these inputs and deliberation in terms of our indifferences, also to the staff for their support. God bless you all. May we all be safe and hope to see you in future from Democratic Alliance. Thank you very much, Ma. Honorable members, we come to the end of the meeting. Thank you very much. This meeting is officially adjourned. Thank you. But
Thank you,
please
Mama.
don't change the phones when so that we can call you to say how are you doing. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mama.
Thank you. Bye.
Thanks so much. So, Mama, bye.